So if you've seen any of my previous videos, you know that when I got my Brazilian bus, it came with a whole bunch of parts in the back, which was kind of handy. So along with a whole bunch of other stuff was this. So an exhaust box, and the other one's got a massive hole in it. So time to change it. It's come as well with some parts, some brackets and bolts, etc. And I'll just get outside now, see if I can get the old one off. Get this one on. So the first job to do is to remove all of the tin wear. So this piece here comes out. There's a couple of bolts here, 2 bolts here, and there should be a bolt here and here as well, I think, but on my bus they were missing. But there you go. So I've undone those, and if I grab this, there we go, that comes out really easy. And now we can see the exhaust proper. And what a mess that is. It's been on there for a long time. In order for me to get access to now all of the clamps on this exhaust, I need to get this off. So this plate also needs to come out. I've just removed one of the bolts there. There's another one on the other side there, one inside there and one here, maybe 2. And then this should lift out and I should be able to see all of the flanges and be able to unbolt the exhaust. So bolts out, and now little wiggle, another bit of tin comes out. And now I can see the flanges. So looks like they've this has been here a long time. Plenty of rust around those. Okay, and the same on the other side as well. So I think what I'm going to do is get some WD-40 on these and let them soak for a bit before I start to try and take them out, because the last thing I want to do is to snap one of these studs in the main engine block, because that will cause a lot of problems. So best to be slow and steady. Get a bit of WD-40 on there, and then I'll ease them off in a short while. Well, that came out a lot easier than I thought it would. It's definitely a good idea to spray some WD-40 on the nuts, on the nuts beforehand. And in all honesty, I did that a couple of days ago and just left it for a few days, and they come off really easily. You can see the state of the old exhaust now definitely needs changing, or the exhaust box, but spot the difference. So this is a Brazilian bus, so there's no heating at all. So the exhaust, the old exhaust box, is quite different to the new one. You can see there that these 2 boxes would normally fit back onto a heat exchanger, and in this bus there are just 2, they call them J pipes, I think. That's the pipe that's poking out there. Literally, it looks like a J, comes from the back and through to this side, and on a European bus there'd be a heat exchanger as all part of that structure. They're about I think it's about 150 quid a piece for each of those. Obviously you need one for each side. And now the kind of big reveal, or possible reveal I guess, is that I may well convert this to electric at some point. So please comment. I know this is there are quite strong views either way on that, but that's a possibility for the future. So I'm just going to replace this at the moment without obviously the connection of any of the heat exchangers for the heating. The other differences are, difference is that on this one you can see that there are 2 pipes here, and they are kind of preheaters for the inlet manifold. So exhaust gases runs along one and down the other side, but goes through the inlet manifold, which is here. So that would be a normal European setup. Obviously, well, in Brazil you don't need that, so they're not fitted on the manifold, on the exhaust box. However, I've got one on one side on this bus, and the other one, because probably you don't need it or broken or whatever, has actually been cut off or broken off on this side. So I think I'm going to fit this without connecting either end, because if I connect just the one end, obviously I'm going to get exhaust gases coming straight out that pipe and not going back into the exhaust box. So I'll put some sort of blanking plate on this, or on here, I would have thought, for the moment, until I decide what I'm going to do. Obviously at some time in the future, if I decide to stick with petrol, then I'll change the inlet manifold. But for now, just get that back on, get it up and running, get it on the road, see how it goes. The only other thing I'd say is with these J pipes, they're quite thick. So you know, I thought maybe, because there's quite a lot of corrosion on the outside, I'd need to change those as well. But there's a lot of meat left on there. I don't know if you can see the wall of that pipe. So I'm not at all concerned about that. So I'll just be able to clean these up and then just refit it in the reverse order that I took it out. Okay, massive learning point. This will save you a load of time. Don't do what I did. So these brackets, if you get this style with your fitting kit, these obviously, now I know, need to fit onto that pipe first before you put the box on. And that's the obvious thing, which I slipped up on. Second thing is that on the flare, there's a flare on the end of, I don't know if that's in focus, there's a flare on the end here. So you don't need both of these inner rings. If you, that's the one I've done, because this flare acts as that inner ring. So this piece, the bracket, goes onto the exhaust pipe, then you slide it over that flange, and then you tighten it up. And the act of tightening these bolts up will pull in the flange to the exhaust and this inner ring here. Okay, take two. Okay, there it's done. I've just got to fit the valances back in, but for all intents and purposes, the exhaust is in. I'm very happy. So hopefully that's been useful to you. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.